To the right is the white Jesus. To the left is the black Jesus. The black Jesus existed before the white Jesus. How does this debunk young Pharaoh? He said a white man came and gave us Christianity. No, we had Christianity before the white man. We was worshiping gods before the white man came. These Kemites love to tell you God consciousness started in Egypt. You're right. That proves that the white man didn't bring us God consciousness. We've been got rid of goddess consciousness and replaced it with God consciousness. We started worshiping pharaohs and men and goats and all of these different gods. And we stopped worshiping the womb and the mother. That was before the white man came. You can't blame that on the white man. And that blame game is why we ain't getting nowhere. Blaming and complaining is why niggas ain't gaining. Blaming and complaining is why niggas ain't gaining. Well, the white man took away our spirituality and gave us something else. Well, then that mean the white man was smarter than you, nigga. Just kneel to the God then. We're dumb and he's smart. You're giving him a lot of credit. That is not what happened. What happened was we abandoned our true spirituality long before any other races came. We was worshiping the goddesses and the mothers and the daughters, and every man knew that we came out of a womb. We replaced this great mother in the middle of this cosmos. This is Dogon cosmology that I got on the screen. We replaced that great mother right there in the middle with her hands up, and we replaced her with this dude on the left named Shu. We shot ourselves in the foot way before the white man came with Jesus on the right. Let me show you something else that proves him wrong, y'all. Here go the white version of the Baphomet. It's called Uncle Sam, right? Now let's move this to the side. Let me show you something. Here go the black version. Now I just showed you the black Jesus versus the white Jesus. Now look at here. The two horns of the Baphomet represent Democrat and Republican. Uncle Sam is the god of politics. The two horns represent the two pillars of government. Those two pillars is how they maintain power out of chaos, making you choose a side. This deity broke apart the yin-yang symbol. That's what he's showing you. Yin-yang mean balance. When you break the yin-yang apart, that means chaos. This is the god of chaos or pandemonium. That's why Pan-Africans call themselves Pan-Africans. They teach that the entire human race comes from Africa. In a previous video, I taught you how that was a lie and it's plagiarization. That the human germ, they said that the human germ was on a rock and a rock crashed near Mali. But I showed you the sacred geometry and I did the original flat earth or origin stories. I taught you about the ripple effect because a ripple effect is when you throw a rock into the water. And when they told you humans was created on Earth, they told you that an asteroid landed into the water or a rock went into the water. The ancestors taught about a ripple effect that started from the North Pole where all compasses are pointing. And they said the universe was conceived, not created. It was born. And in order to give birth to the universe, only a goddess can do that. But when they replaced the goddess, they had to come with the Big Bang theory, which saying that it was made simply from a banging instead of a goddess conceiving it. All right? So this ripple effect concept that the ancients had was plagiarized with the concept of a rock coming from outer space landing into the waters of the ocean and then human life evolving from that point of impact. That's a fake. They're plagiarizing the concept of a ripple effect when they do that. That's not our true spiritual system. So the step pyramid represents the flat earth. Now, I'm all over the place here, which is cool. What I just proved was that the white man didn't come to Egypt and corrupt us. We were corrupted before the white man came. When the white man came, so he can fit in with Egyptian culture, he ended up changing a lot of his spiritual system to be compatible with that of Egypt. And that's why we got a white Baphomet and a black Baphomet. Now let's talk about government, because that's something that Pharaoh loves. Pharaoh is a huge Trump supporter, and by doing that, it makes him pro-government, all right, or pro-politics. And why is Pharaoh pro-politics? Because in the occult, in Freemasonry, they worship the Baphomet, which is Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam, or the Baphomet, is the god of politics. So you notice that all Masons tell you to vote. They say, man, if you ain't out there voting, then you ain't got a voice. You need to be quiet if you ain't voting. And they even tell you, I don't care who you vote for, you just need to vote. And that's the theology of the Baphomet. Pick a side. You need to be picking a side, because if you don't pick a side, we can't divide and conquer y'all. So the agenda of the Masons is to make you pick a side, left or right. You say, I don't want to pick a side. Well, you stupid. You part of the problem. People like you are dangerous. Our ancestors died for the right to vote. No, they didn't. They died so people can leave them the fuck alone. I'm from the South. I know why my ancestors was marching in the streets. My granddaddy marched with Dr. King. You ain't gonna tell me that my people in the South was marching to fucking vote. That's a lie. Our people back then knew if these folks was hanging us on trees, they wasn't gonna respect our goddamn votes. You think my ancestors was dummies? You think my ancestors was some damn dummies that they thought their votes would count if their life didn't count? If your life don't matter to these people, what the fuck make you think your votes matter to them if they don't respect your life?
So what these people did was they came to Egypt, they reverse engineered our spirituality, killed it, okay? And then they created a book that would keep ushering in the death of your spirituality.
Again, I gotta correct him on that once again, just for the sake of the new people. No one came to Egypt and corrupted our spirituality. We corrupted our spirituality long before invaders came with Christianity. That book he talking about called the Bible, they tell you that the Bible and Christianity started in Egypt. So let me do this for my Hebrew Israelite brothers. Even though I don't agree with the Hebrews, I got to go ahead and just say this. Hebrews, ain't y'all tired of people saying that the Bible come from Egypt and that Christianity come from Egypt? And then they turn around and say the invaders brought the Bible to Egypt and corrupted us. Ain't y'all tired of hearing them contradict themselves like that? Which one is it, man? Because you can't, these Kemites want to have their cake and eat it too. On one hand, when they trying to prove everything come from Egypt, then Christianity comes from Egypt. But on the other hand, when they trying to prove that the Christians corrupted their spiritual system, then they want to say they brought Christianity over there. So what's the truth? The truth is that the cultures that came to Kemet started copying our spiritual system for the sake of getting along with us. Listen, people, it's time that we get out of pseudoscience. Kemet was the world's first melting pot. And because of that, they had to do what we call the New World Order today, which is create a one world religion. That started in Kemet. That one world religion was the worship of Aten or Satan, Aten, the bull. All right. Let me show you something real quick. To the left, you have a God called Yeshua. To the left, you have a God called Shu, but the Greeks call him Yeshua. And if you look at the sacred geometry, because Pharaoh saying sacred geometry, but he ain't giving you sacred geometry. They turned Nut into Mount Calvary. As you can see here, Shu existed before Jesus, so we can't blame indoctrination on Europeans. Because, and one thing you got to realize, when you look at this on the left, first of all, you're looking at flat earth, but you're still looking at a corrupted spiritual system, because during this time in Egypt, they was letting male deities personify the female uterus. Now let me prove my point. Give me a minute. Let me pull this up real quick. It's very simple. Because Shu was one of those deities that represented rebirth and all of that. And you're going to find out why his arms are in a position of Jesus' arms, and both of them represent rebirth. Let me show you why. Hold on just a minute. Get my screen share out. There we go. All right, so here. As you can see here, right? Let me do this better than I could do this better than this. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let's see here. All right. So as you can see here, right? Shu represent transformation. But the uterus, before Shu was created, there was a great mother at the center of the earth representing transformation. That's a key position for the goddess. But when the patriarch took over, they couldn't even, they demoted the goddesses, basically. So in all the let me show you what I mean, right? Like if you look up a picture of the Pharaoh, you will see his wife look like an ant, right? Let me see. Let's look up Aten, right? Let me see if I can find a picture of him and his wife. This is what I'm talking about here. Let me show you how egotistical. See, people, our true ancestors, they were matriarchal people. They didn't have ego. They wasn't patriarchs. They revered the womb and the woman. They respected her role. They respected her being a portal for all life to enter and exit the earth. Pictures like this show you, let me show you something real quick because I want you to see this. You need to understand, hold on, this is not a good, let me stretch this back out for y'all. All right, there we go. Now let me pull up some. I want to educate y'all on something. There's something called heretic scale. And with heretic scale, right, read, is a system used to visually communicate power in Egyptian as well as the art of other cultures, including ancient Near East and in medieval European art. For example, significant or important individuals such as pharaohs were depicted as being much larger than any figures in a scene. So look at this image right here, y'all, and look at the ego involved. Look at the ego, right? Look at the size of the pharaoh and look at the size of his wife and his children. They're showing you which one is the most important one in the picture.